All right, so we should be live all together. Let me get my webcam up right now. Hopefully good to go across the board. I hope I am. I hope I am. Let me know if I am. Should be good. If not, there might be some mechanical issue, maybe with my light attachment here that I have set up. Yeah, looks like no webcam right now. I don't know what's going on. I've been playing around with it. I thought I was good to go across the board. Hmm. All right, well, I'll tell you what, we are good to go either way. As long as you could see the screen and you could hear me, you know that we're going to be good. Yeah, I don't know what's happening, Wendy. All right, well, you don't have to deal with my ugly mug. So we'll take the webcam off once again. I got a little issue going on I got to fix, but I was even checking before I jumped in on social media again on our streams on social. So for anyone there, I appreciate you just joining us here. We're going to look to do this infrequently every now and then, just, in the mornings or the afternoons, just for like 15, 20 minutes, maybe, just every now and then. So if you wanted to get the full dose of our audio commentary, of course, the platform showing inside our live trading room, just go right down to the link on the green banner below the stream right there to get yourself set up on a small trial for any of our students like Barbara or Wendy or John or Michael, Andre, Sam. You folks, of course, know. But with that in mind, I'll tell you right now, the Uber trade, Rich, if you want to turn over to Uber, that's making a pretty strong move back up towards the trend line that we ended up talking about during our afternoon meeting. So this is something that I've had my eyes on across the afternoon so far. And coming off the 2:30 meeting, we were talking about Uber making the move back up towards that 37 level, and ultimately not just 37, but a pretty big trend line test off the pre-market highs. And once again, you could see it's just holding perfectly underneath that trend line now. So I'd be pretty reluctant on trying to long Uber, especially if the S&P dumps off one more time here. SPY just had a pop and drop, pulling back down again. Victor still in on the SOUN trade. There we go. Nice. He has a good entry. I saw John get some money on it just before. Yeah, it's looking really strong still. Personally, coming off the afternoon meeting, I told you then, I'm still in on the AI trade. So just personally, AI, if that pops, I would assume SOUN to go as well, or maybe vice versa with how strong the SOUN trade is today. That's actually right off the highs. Got an entry on the AI trade off of 25.37, 25.36 right there. So that's what I'm looking for as far as like a nice pop up higher into the close. I'd want to see 26 solidify as support here for the AI. Got a nice pop, Rich. I don't know what the volume looks like. It's not on our list yet, obviously. I think it may have just started to move, but COEP. Nice chart. Order book looks a little skimpy. The order size isn't bad. Some good order size, but a couple price levels where you're not really seeing bidder asks. So the spread could open up for how cheap it is, and that can make for a relatively volatile trade. So got to be careful. And when I say volatile, that doesn't mean always going to move up. So it can make a head fake here, snap right back down to the VWAP. A couple of the inverse ETFs are gaining some steam right now, meaning like UVXY, SQQQ. So markets are pulling back. We were alluding to this going into the close. I wish I had my webcam up right now. I really got to fix that. I don't know what happened there. Has to be some little issue running a little light stream, maybe. That could be it. Either way, we'll be good for tomorrow, for next time. If not tomorrow, then Friday. All right, getting a little move up on the CELZ trade, Rich, but that made such a move up from earlier today. It's going to be tough to expect that to run up once more. You got the VWAP at 119 as resistance there. 130 would be a key level, about 78,000 shares on the ask at 130. Man, what a trend line hold on Uber that we had earlier. Jeez. Held it flawlessly right off the highs. Turn back to that SOUN trade, Rich. You got a 38,000 share iceberg on the ask at 450. I'll bring up level 4 here just in a moment myself, just to see if there's any big iceberg orders otherwise out there. You have a pretty big one after 450 at $5. It's a 287,000 share order. Normally you'd imagine 5 to be a psychological level of sorts, a whole number level. It's half of 10, half a decade type of number, $5 incremental level. So those are typically going to be strong. 5, 10, 15, 20, all that is going to be psychologically strong, but just showing that iceberg out there on SOUN at 5, I mean, that just proves it, right? That just adds fuel to the fire. This AI trade's pulling back, and I don't really have much to gain if I get out right here. It's just on a small position. So I'm in from 25.36 on it. If it ends up just dumping off, I may just pull the trade and just take whatever remaining cents I have as money. But just on a smaller position size, to me, unless it's just making that bigger move up, if you already have your cushion money already underneath you, then it's kind of just more of a play trade than anything. The Uber trade from earlier, Uber was actually on more shares, but still, given the price, you're probably going to lower the share count anyway. Unless if they're really ripping, just to me, I don't have as much tie to them as much. I'm not as emotionally drawn to them, I should say. KPRX, that's pulling back down now. The heat map looks pretty ugly for the KPRX trade. The SOUN ended up just dropping off here briefly, pulling back into some volume that was filled off of 425, 423. This could just be a head fake here, a shakeout. Let's see what happens coming up on level 3 and level 4. See if an iceberg pops up on the bid, I should say. SPY right now is retesting big support. The key phrase there is retesting, because it already crashed and held underneath it, or held above it, I should say, at first. The more times it kind of crashes into it, it should slam below it. So that's where you got to watch out across the entire board. It's going to be tough for anything to really gain good momentum, unless if it's like a small cap, low float, cheap stock. Speaking of which, Rich, if you want to turn over to the stock SOBR, Insider Live Trading Room, for all of them there, that's one of the only things that is kind of looking halfway decent. Cheap stock. I don't know what the float is and all that, but nice pop. Familiar name. We ended up trading that SOBR trade a little while ago. Former runner. Not much of a clear resistance out there in terms of an iceberg. All right, just really quickly for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, etc. Hey, if you're new to our streams right now, just make sure that you go right down to the link on the green banner below, just if you wanted to continue the full audio and video commentary that we're doing inside our live trading room for any of our students there right now, like Michael and Barbara, Victor, Wendy. Of course, you folks know that we'll continue that coming up here. I'll be on until 3:30 or so, and Rich will tag me out. He'll jump in to wrap up for you going into the end of the day. Yeah, sober trade pulling back. I mean, hey, if $2 could hold his support, that could be a nice trade. So keep $2 in mind there. Let's just watch a bid come out there to build that support. A lot of volume was already filled off that price anyway, just before. The SOUN trade, unfortunately, not much is joining the bid. A bit of an order at 420, but not much, honestly. 418, 11,000 showing now. You got to see a really strong retracement back up here for myself on this AI trade. It popped back up actually pretty suddenly. So that's actually a nice silver lining because if I happen to see AI hold, that gives me a little belief to think that the others like BBAI, SOUN will all eventually squeeze back up. On SOUN right now, you got a 15K order that's popping in and out now at 418. So getting a little bit more of an iceberg show in there. A little bit more of an iceberg sitting out there on the bid. You can see the SPY coming down right now towards 410. I just have a big line there. All right, just kind of gathering my thoughts here. Again, not a whole lot else that we're missing, so we don't need to force anything, especially in a down market right now today. Let's go back to that KPRX. That's like the definition of trying to catch a falling knife, right? It's the last thing that you want to try and do. It's on thin liquidity to begin with. We're hopeful for one more move up on it, but doesn't seem like that's going to be the case at least yet. You got plenty of time, but you want to see at least a good sign of support to show or an iceberg to where it could break under and back over it. The hell with this. I'm out on the AI trade. I just closed out at 25.84 from my entry at 36. Now I'm flat across the board. I don't have any trades on me right now. That CELZ trade pulled back, so that one looks like a done deal. That one looks like it's finished. I'll tell you, I mean, like SOUN, I'm interested in. The AI, I'm kind of more like particular to. I don't know why. I guess it's kind of my personality today. Yesterday and this morning, I was all over SOUN. So either or for me, both look pretty interesting still if they can get a nice bounce back up. I have no problem trying to jump back in on the AI if I think that there's room to make a little bit more money on it. But right now, I'll hold off. Got plenty of time till that infamous 330 move anyway. We're going to be going over this a lot more coming up. Ooh, I almost just dropped. I had my reclining chair right here. We're going to be going over this a lot more coming up. That would have been funny to capture on webcam, by the way. We have a lot more to cover in regards to that in terms of the on-site class in Jacksonville coming up in 2 weeks, I think, just coming up on February 20th, 21st, 22nd. We have our classes, of course, next week, phases 1 and 2, like our normal stock trading course. We have phase 3 the week after Jacksonville. I'll probably be doing one of those classes. We got the second bookmap group coaching session. Remember, for any of the students that have the one-on-one bookmap coaching pack here at CTU, that's going to be on February 27th. So there's a lot of time here this month in particular to go over all of these different live trading scenarios, just in terms of using bookmap to our advantage, identifying trend, following the market, risk management, timing of the day, risk management. I said that obviously twice, but no, I mean, the AI, just no better time to get out. It popped to 26. It didn't stick. Take the money and run. That sober trade ended up running up a little bit. It didn't pull back to 2. It ended up actually holding a little bit there and moving up towards 210, 212. Rich, turn over to the stock Mark, M-A-R-K, Remark. This one was on our radar, I think, from last week, and it's trying to make a pop back up towards, I think, the open price or the close price that we had back from Monday this week, right off of 201, right there, the high. SPY's making a small little squeak back up, little slingshot off of that 410 level. I don't know how convinced I am on it though, in terms of looking for a day trade with that. AI is moving back over 26, so obviously, I have my eyes on that still on a separate screen. I mean, I could be down with it, but I'd want to see it kind of snip under and over one more time, right around 25.95 even. You know what? I don't mind going a small position size now at 26 even, but probably shake a little bit lower first. I'm talking about the AI trade here. Ooh, that remark, that made a nasty shake down there, didn't it? I kind of caught that just from the corner of my eye. I got a separate screen, but you could see AI. I'm looking for it to try and hold over 25.95 or so here. Starting to make that push back up, Wendy. There we go. I feel justified at least jumping back in right at 26 flat. Roger, you're in on the sound trade from 224 as a swing? That's incredible, man. I didn't know that. You're chatting me this morning. I didn't realize that. It's incredible. Ah, he says 424. Could have been possible. I mean, hey, we started trading it back when it was like a $2 stock, so that would have been a sweet story. Either way, the 424, Rogers up about 14 cents, and it's on a day trade position, I'd imagine, so more shares than a swing position. But he's making money. He's making money. That's what matters most. Let's see this push up towards the 450 level. That is for the SOUN. The AI is not really making that better pop off at 26 yet. There's time. There is time. Like I thought, it was going to shake a little bit under 26 at first, and then for it to try and snap back up higher. Kind of just like it did right there. I will say the SOUN is a lot sharper looking trend right now. That is the better stock to follow. I'm kind of just following the AI stocks all together. So AI, the actual stock AI, I feel like is the leader of the sector there. AI is not looking that great now. I wanted to see it make a better hold off of this 25.95, 26 area here. It's not really doing a great job. Oof, that mark trade just came down really bad. I mean, that was a disaster. Popped at first to 2, but there was no looking back from that point. Market is pulling back now. SPY back down towards 410. And over to the stock, and I mean, I don't want to move away from SOUN here, but I think the AVRO is making a nice pop. That was one that we had on our watch list also this afternoon so far. So there's definitely a few different good trades here that are moving right now. Let's hope one of them is my AI. AVRO is making a really good squeeze though in the interim. This is the one that we had a couple of like big orders for it to bust over though. So that was the only kicker to this trade that I wasn't a fan of. There wasn't like a solidified, clear resistance level on this trade. All right, here we go. A couple of nice moves, like I just said. The SOUN up towards 450. Rich, if you want to turn back to that SOUN trade. Roger doing good on that one, that's for sure. My AI is back over 26, so we're doing good there. I don't care about not being in the biggest winner. About that's fine by me as long as I'm making money. Hopefully AI has a good 50-cent pop to it here before the close, because that is a more volatile stock even. I feel like that definitely has the type of ability to make a nice bounce. Speaking of which, just because SOUN's moving so well, just to mention it, the BBAI is pushing back up again. Small little push back up on that. So perhaps there could be more to these AI trades. Here comes my AI stock, now at 2612. There's a little shake around there, thankfully on small positions, or smaller shares at least compared to the norm. There's a little bit more of a cushion you can give yourself. You don't want to give yourself too big of a cushion, but 10 cents or so, it's not terrible. Especially just the type of day that we're on right now. This is not a deal breaker type of trade. So again, you don't want to hold on for too long, but this time of the day, this is where you look for some better moves. The SOUN is running really well. You got a 100,000 share iceberg basically at 450. Whew, just broke right through that thing. And it's right back to the highs that we had from yesterday. All right, here we go. Nice move on the SOUN. Remember, we were looking at this at 375, 380 as historical level, right? That's why I have the blue line on the daily chart that I have up. But you could see just from July into September into October of last year on the SOUN chart, it was holding that extremely well. For any of us inside our live trading room, I know Alex just wrote it and Roger wrote it before, but is anyone else in on the SOUN trade? Alex is in right now from 430. Lawrence, you're in? Nice. I'll tell you, obviously, I wish I could say I'm in, but as long as AI takes off, that's all good. About 18,000 on the ask. I just saw a pop up at 462. It's a really liquid trade. You got to give it to it. So, it's 18K, 16K. It's really not even that big. We were just talking about 100K at 450. There's 32,000 at 475. So that's more of a, smaller iceberg, you could say. I added on the AI trade. 2616. Now let's see that AI trade really explode, though. We got to see it really pop up over the VWAP price there at 2641. Let's get that to make a much sharper move back up. Starting to get some good support on AI, though. That's for certain. All right, what else is on our list here that we had that we didn't really cycle through as much? That KPRX we talked about, but kind of catching the falling knife. And, you could say it's bottoming out briefly here, but there's obviously way better trades. There's no need to follow this now. That AVRO, we were a little reluctant on. Just we were talking about the size of some of the icebergs out there. It was just kind of tough for this to try and blast higher, but it's definitely still in contention. Had a nice pop at 315, like we called out, and just got to see it really begin to hold higher lows, perhaps around this 168, 170 area. The UAA trades are pretty much done, unless if they were at the lows and dropping. There's no need to follow them. And the AUTL is not really looking too great either. Kind of just slow, stagnant, not much happening since we put this on our list. All right, we're getting a shake back down on the AI trade. Doesn't look like it's going to make that push. I'm going to jump out right now. Ended up taking a tiny loss on it. But if it's not going to make that big move that I was looking for, that's where you don't want to hope and hold. So, again, it's been a phenomenal day so far, folks. Don't want to ruin it. Just kind of shaking around there. Maybe I could have just pulled the plug only if it broke under 26, but again, just I wanted to make a more concise move sooner than later. Maybe I now kind of just focusing on this SOUN now. Gives me a good chance to kind of reset. Even if AI does go back up, this is just the better trade. So yes, I mean, hey, the more times it stabs over 450, this SOUN trade I'm talking about, it should lead to a pretty good run. Here we go. Perhaps this could be it. If I can pull back just like another penny, I'd be pretty content, actually, just to get me in. It's got to make a stronger run now. It's got to make that better pop now at this point. You don't want it to consolidate too much around here because at this stage, heading into the close, this also could be a point where they kind of try and shake people out. If it's not going to make that better run coming up at 330, then what might happen is you may see it just shake people out going into the close. And then in the post market, it may end up running up higher. And I'll just be the first to tell you, it's like 85 degrees out here in Largo, Florida. I'm going to be going to the beach. So I'm not going to be here after hours. It's been a phenomenal day. Got to rest the eyes a little bit. There we go, Roger. Excellent job. One of our longtime students, a platinum student of ours here. Been doing some coaching with him over the last year. He's been killing it himself, but he just got out at 458. Nicholas said on Monday, SOUN ran up in the after hours to over 5. All right, there you go. I actually forgot about that, so I appreciate the reminder there. That will happen every now and then. If it doesn't make that bigger move that you want by 330, then shoot, it may just kind of shake people out. Then in the after hours may pop higher, or vice versa. Maybe this is the beginning of profit taking, and then they slam it down lower. I think with how great this daily chart looks right now, I'm not going to think that right away, but I would have thought that back on Monday this week when it was popping up as well as it did, right? Pop and drop, then it ran up higher in the after hours. So now that it made a full recovery here, it definitely looks pretty strong. So let's see what it could do. Victor out on his trade at 455. There we go, joining Roger at least. And yeah, I'll tell you, if you had a pretty good entry price right around 420, 430-ish or lower, I mean, hey, just before the afternoon meeting, obviously, we've been on this all day. So, the lower entry you got, the more willing you would be to take the profit, right? Knowing you're up a healthy chunk of change already. So, for my sake, in from 451, well, let's see this make the better push. I'm not going to mention share size on this one. This is a nice tradable stock here. Nice move so far. A beautiful move, might I say. Actually, this is a good time already to begin the scale out process. There we go. Took a third of my position size out at 470. For the hell of it, I'll take another third out, right at 473. There we go. I don't necessarily look to scalp in and out within a minute's time like that, but we'll take what we can get. All right, folks. So I'll tell you right now, Rich is going to wrap things up for all of us heading into the close in our live trading room for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. It feels like we have more each and every day joining us now. Feel more than free to shoot me a quick email if you have any questions. Josh at c2trading.com is my email. So let me know if there's anything that comes up, any questions that you'd like to go over or whatnot. But otherwise, if you're interested in taking the next step, joining us in our live trading room, even for today coming up, Rich will be on the mic in about a couple minutes, but whether it be tomorrow or next week, just make sure that you go right down to the link on the green banner below the stream to get yourself started. I got a third of my position left, so I'm going to be at my desk. I'm going to be inside the live trading room with all of our students still. And once I pull the plug on the last third, I'm going to the beach. All right. I look forward to talking to everybody soon. Take care, folks.